Thank you for being here tonight. This is Way North Sleep Lab, a quiet space for sleep stories, gentle visualizations, and peaceful journeys into rest. Tonight, let's drift across still waters to the story of Venice. A city built on dreams and wooden pilings, rising from the lagoon like something half-remembered. Let the gentle rhythm of a Venice gondola carry you towards sleep. A special thanks to Eleanor Finch for writing this story and to Oliver Grant for narrating. If you'd like more gentle stories like this, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps us create more peaceful journeys for your rest. Now, Oliver, please bring us to sleep.
Before we begin, find a comfortable position. Dim the lights or turn them off completely. Close your eyes when you're ready. There's no pressure here, no expectations, just calm. You don't need to follow every word. If you drift off before the end, that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Let your body grow heavy. Let your breath slow. Let yourself be carried. Take a moment now and feel the support of the bed beneath you. Feel how the mattress holds you, how the pillow cradles the weight of your head. You don't need to do anything else but be here. Now, gently bring your attention to your breath. Breathe in slowly through your nose, filling your lungs with calm, cool air. And breathe out through your mouth, releasing, letting go. With each breath out, you release a little more. A little more tension leaves your body. If your mind wanders, that's perfectly fine. If you drift away before the end, that's exactly what we want. There is no test, no right way to listen. Just let the words wash over you like rain on glass. You are safe here. There is nowhere you need to be right now. Nothing you need to solve. Nothing you need to hold. If thoughts come, let them float by like slow clouds in a quiet night sky. You don't have to follow them. You can simply return to the feeling of your breath and the gentle weight of your body. In this moment, you are safe, you are supported, and you can rest. Take one more slow breath in, and a long, soft breath out. And if sleep is close, you can let it come, naturally, quietly, in its own time. Now let's turn to tonight's story. The Venetian lagoon stretches wide and shallow between the mainland and the Adriatic Sea. In the fading light, it becomes a sheet of hammered silver, reflecting clouds and sky in equal measure. Small islands dot the surface, some inhabited, some wild with marsh grass and herons. The water here is neither fresh nor fully salt. It changes with the tides, breathing in and out twice each day. Everything here exists in a state of gentle transformation. Your gondola moves through a side canal where the water is perfectly still. Buildings rise on either side, their foundations disappearing into reflections so clear you cannot tell where stone ends and water begins. The facades are the colour of sunset, ochre and terracotta and pale pink, paint faded by salt air and centuries. In many descriptions of Venice, we hear about the particular quality of the light. Painters came here for centuries trying to capture it, the way it seems to glow from within the stones themselves. Tonight, that light is soft, forgiving, asking nothing of you except that you rest your eyes upon it for a moment before letting them close. The amulet in your hand catches a glimmer from a passing window. The carved lion seems almost to breathe. In some sources, we learn that the winged lion of St. Mark has been Venice's symbol since medieval times, appearing on flags and doorways, watching over the city's long memory. The gondola passes beneath a small bridge. For a moment, you are in shadow, cool and enclosed. Water drips somewhere nearby, a patient, rhythmic sound. Then you emerge into open air again, into the last warmth of day. Seabirds settle on wooden posts that mark the edges of channels. Their calls are soft now, sleepy. The working day is done. The water taxis have slowed their pace. Even the city itself seems to exhale, releasing the day's energy into the twilight air. Your breathing slows to match the gentle rocking. In, out, rise, fall. The gondola knows the way, even if you do not. Let yourself trust this. Let yourself be carried. The lagoon holds you, as it has held travellers for over 1,000 years. The water is patient. The night is long. The sky deepens from blue to indigo. The first stars appear, faint at first, then brighter as your eyes adjust to the growing dark. They reflect on the water's surface, doubling, creating a world where heaven and earth mirror each other perfectly. In the centuries after Rome's decline, people moved toward these lagoon islands, seeking refuge. They came slowly, over generations, carrying what they could: tools and seeds, stories and skills. Hope that something new could be built in these unlikely marshes. The water around your gondola is darker now, reflecting the deep blue of night rather than sky. But the darkness is not threatening. It is restful, complete, like closing your eyes and knowing you are safe. Many tellings describe how the first settlers drove wooden piles into the mud of the lagoon floor. Oak from distant forests, larch, pine, hundreds of thousands of them, creating an invisible forest beneath the water. On top of these wooden foundations, they laid platforms of stone, and on the stone they built their lives. Imagine the patience required. Each piling had to be driven deep into the soft sediment until it reached firmer ground. The work must have seemed endless, yet it was done. Day by day, season by season. The amulet in your hand seems to remember this. You can almost feel the echo of hammers, the strain of ropes, the satisfaction of seeing something solid emerge from water and will. Your gondola passes a palace whose ground floor is partially submerged. Venice is always negotiating with the sea, giving ground here, reclaiming it there, accepting that permanence is relative, that everything changes, that survival means flexibility. There is comfort in this somehow, the knowledge that even stone yields, that even the most solid seeming structures flow and adapt. In various sources, we learn that the early Venetians were fishermen and salt workers, people who understood tides and winds. They built simple homes at first, wooden structures raised on those driven piles, safe from the highest tides. Gradually, the separate islands began to connect. Bridges appeared, wooden at first, then stone, creating pathways between communities. The city started to stitch itself together, one span at a time. The bridges you pass under tonight are worn smooth by centuries of footsteps. Millions of people have crossed them, merchants and nobles, servants and sailors, mothers with children, lovers hand in hand. Their passage has polished the stone like water polishes river rocks. Your breathing has slowed further. The rocking of the gondola is barely perceptible now, just the gentlest motion. The amulet rests in your loosening grip, safe even as your attention drifts. The first churches rose on these islands, gathering places around which communities formed, their bells marking the hours, their walls holding prayers. Against all probability, Venice endured. The foundations held, the city grew. And here you are, centuries later, floating through its evening waters, held by those same wooden piles driven into mud so long ago. Morning begins with light on water. The sun rises over the Adriatic, and the lagoon catches fire, gold and orange spreading across the surface. The light enters windows, stripe by stripe through shutters, painting rooms with warmth. Your gondola has drifted into a quieter area where washing hangs between buildings. During the day, these lines would be full of life. Conversations called from window to window, the flap of drying linen, the daily commerce of neighborhoods. In many accounts of Venetian life, we hear about water as the city's streets. Everything moved by boat. Food from the mainland, goods from distant ports, building materials. The sound of oars and the calls of boatmen were the soundtrack of daily life. Imagine waking to that sound, the splash and pull of oars, voices calling out their wares. Fresh fish, vegetables. The boats moving from house to house, creating a floating market. The amulet warms slightly in your hand. In some sources, we learn about charms worn for protection by those who made their living on the water. From the human need to hold something tangible, to feel connected to luck, or simply to the long line of those who came before. The markets on land were livelier still. The Rialto especially, where merchants spread their goods. The smell of fish and spices, ripe fruit and fresh bread. The haggling in Venetian dialect, quick and good-natured. But let's step back into quieter corners. The glassmakers on Murano, working with furnaces hot enough to melt sand into liquid light. Their craft required years to learn. How to gather the molten glass, how to blow and turn and shape it. The glass they made was clear as water, coloured as jewels, goblets and vases, beads and mirrors, chandeliers that scattered light like frozen fireworks. Your breathing has synchronized with this rhythm. Breath in, work. Breath out, rest. The gondola rocks gently. The night air moves across your face like a cool hand on warm skin. The lace makers of Burano sat in their doorways, their fingers moving in patterns learned so young they had become instinct. Thread and needle creating snowflakes, flowers, making something from almost nothing. The work required eyesight and patience. The gondola passes a wellhead, a stone structure in the center of a small square. In many sources, we learn that these wells were vital to Venice's survival, collecting rainwater filtered through sand. Neighbors would gather here, lowering buckets, exchanging news. Let that image settle. Neighbors around a well, their voices soft in the evening. children playing nearby, the day winding down. Simple, human, repeated countless times across centuries. Food was simple but nourishing. Polenta, risotto flavored with seafood from the lagoon, vegetables from garden islands, bread baked fresh each morning, its crust crackling. Meals were eaten together, families gathered around tables. There is something deeply restful about this image. The gathered family, the shared meal, the sense of completion that comes with evening. After dinner, people walked, the evening passeggiata. Young couples courted under watchful eyes. Old friends fell into step together. Children ran ahead, their energy inexhaustible. The night deepens. Shutters close. Candles are extinguished one by one. The city settles into sleep. Children first, then adults. The silence that falls is not empty, but full of rest, of restoration. Let that wisdom enter you now. Let the daily rhythms of Venice become your rhythm. Let yourself move with the current, the tide that rises and falls, the gentle insistence of life that continues, that endures. Venice collected beauty the way the lagoon collects light, slowly, from many sources, until it became something impossible to separate from the city itself. The Basilica of San Marco stands in the great square, its domes rising like bubbles of stone. In many accounts, we hear how treasures arrived from Constantinople: bronze horses, marble of colours that seemed impossible, carved with delicacy that made stone appear to be lace. But let's think of how morning light enters the basilica, striking mosaics made from thousands of tiny gold tiles. The light doesn't just illuminate, it seems to emanate from the walls themselves, as if heaven had been captured and pressed into stone and glass. Your gondola has drifted close to the waterfront. The amulet in your hand catches a glimmer of moonlight, and for a moment the carved lion seems to smile. Artists came to Venice seeking something they could not name. Bellini painted Madonnas with faces like Venetian women. Carpaccio filled his canvases with the city's daily life, gondolas and palaces, merchants and miracles. Later came Titian with his magnificent reds, Tintoretto with his dramatic compositions. They worked in workshops filled with the smell of pigment and linseed oil, grinding colours by hand, building up layers of paint until the canvas glowed with inner light. Let that glow warm you now. Let it be less about seeing and more about feeling. The sense that beauty exists not to be examined, but to be absorbed. Music filled the city too. Vivaldi taught violin at the Ospedale della Pietà, composing concertos that captured seasons and storms. In some sources, we learn that orphaned girls performed behind screens, their music floating pure and disembodied through the chapel. Imagine that music now, soft enough not to disturb. The slow movement of a violin concerto, notes falling like rain on water, creating ripples that spread and fade. The gondola moves through water so still, it barely seems to move at all. The rocking has become almost imperceptible, just the slightest suggestion of motion. The theatres opened, La Fenice, which burned and rose again from its ashes. Audiences gathered in boxes, wearing masks during Carnival. The boundaries between performance and reality deliberately blurred. But let those masks fall away now. What remains is simpler. Just you, in a gondola, holding an amulet, moving through water and darkness towards sleep. The palazzos along the Grand Canal display centuries of accumulated beauty. Gothic tracery, Renaissance symmetry, Baroque exuberance. Each generation added its layer. The facades glow softly in moonlight, ochre and rose and pale gold, coral and cream. In these palazzos, private collections grew. Paintings and sculptures, illuminated manuscripts. Rooms were designed to display these treasures, their floors laid in terrazzo that reflected candlelight like water reflects sky. Your eyelids have grown heavy. The amulet rests loosely in your open hand. The city's accumulated beauty surrounds you, not as something to observe, but as an atmosphere, as a quality of air. Beauty for its own sake, art because humans need it, music because silence is sometimes too empty. These things were necessities, ways of making meaning, of transforming the ordinary into something that could nourish the spirit. Let that nourishment reach you now. Let the beauty Venice created over centuries surround you like a blanket, gentle you toward deep rest. The city that had been a republic for 1,000 years changed hands in 1797. In various sources, we learn that the last Doge removed his ceremonial cap and said simply, "You would not need it again." An empire ended with resignation, with the acknowledgement that time moves on, that nothing lasts forever. But let's think of transformation rather than ending. Venice became something different, but no less itself. No longer a commercial power, but a repository of memory. A place people came not to trade, but to remember, to imagine, to experience something that existed nowhere else. Your gondola has returned to the smaller canals. The amulet rests in your hand, its weight familiar now, comforting. The artists kept coming. Turner painting Venice in veils of light and mist, making the city look like a dream half remembered. Monet capturing the way morning transforms stone and water. Whistler finding poetry in fog and twilight. Writers came too. Byron swimming the Grand Canal at midnight. Henry James describing Venice as a beautiful tomb, recognizing something essential about its relationship with time. Let these visitors move through your imagination like ghosts, benevolent, gentle, evidence that places accumulate stories, that Venice became all the versions of itself that people carried away in memory and art. The floods came more frequently as the 20th century progressed, the acqua alta rising through drains. Venetians learned to live with flooding as something seasonal, manageable, part of the price of living somewhere extraordinary. Your gondola rises and falls almost imperceptibly with some distant movement of the tide. The Adriatic breathing. Venice floating on this breath, as it has floated for centuries. In the quietest hours, Venice reveals another self, the private city of cats and shadows, of water sounds amplified by silence, the city that exists for itself, not for visitors. The city of shutters closing and keys turning, of moonlight on water that no one sees, of buildings settling, making the small adjustments of age. The amulet has become part of your hand. You are part of the gondola, part of the night, part of the slow current that moves through the city. Memory lives in Venice differently than elsewhere. The stones remember hands that shaped them. The water remembers every reflection. The air remembers music and voices. Everything that has happened here remains here somehow, layered like sediment, invisible but essential. Let your own memories settle into this layering. Let them be there without demanding attention, present without being painful. The churches stand watch in the darkness, their bells silent for the night, their doors closed, but they remain patient as stone, there whether anyone looks at them or not. Let that gift enter you. Let yourself simply be, not striving, not seeking, not needing anything different. Just here, just now, just this moment of floating through darkness, held by water. The night deepens into its darkest hour. The stars seem brighter. The water reflects them perfectly, creating a world where up and down have lost their meaning. Let yourself suspend there. Let all weight fall away. Let the boundaries that separate you from the world soften and blur. The gondola has carried you to a place beyond naming. Perhaps you are still in the city's canals. Perhaps you have drifted into the lagoon. Perhaps you are suspended in that space where water meets sky and both become indistinguishable from darkness. Your eyes have closed, or perhaps remain barely open. It no longer matters. The world exists now only in sensation. The gentle rocking, the cool air, the small weight of the amulet. The gondolier continues without pause. The oar dips and lifts, creating a rhythm that has become your heartbeat, your breathing, the background pulse of existence. Venice has always been a threshold space, suspended between land and sea, between east and west, between what was and what will be. Tonight it becomes a threshold between waking and sleep, between consciousness and dreams. Let yourself rest on this threshold. There is no need to rush towards sleep. Sleep will come in its own time, like tide rising, like light fading, like breath gradually slowing until it becomes almost imperceptible. The amulet grows warm one last time, or perhaps this is just the warmth of your own hand, your own blood. The carved lion seems to pulse gently, as if breathing. The water beneath you is perfectly still. You are floating on glass, on mirror, yet you feel it supporting you, holding you, refusing to let you sink. Stars reflect on this perfect surface. You cannot tell if you are looking up at heaven or down at its reflection. Perhaps there is no difference. Perhaps everything has become one thing: darkness and light, stone and water, waking and sleep. Let that unity hold you. Let all separation dissolve. Let the boundaries soften until you become permeable, until the night can move through you, until you are not separate from the water or the darkness, but part of them. Your breathing has become so slow it almost seems to stop. The pause between breaths grows longer. In that pause, there is perfect stillness. No thought, no sensation, no awareness of time, just presence, just being, just this eternal moment. The amulet rests in your open palm, no longer needing to be grasped. Nothing will be lost. Everything is safe. You are safe. The night holds you. The water holds you. Venice holds you in its 1,000-year embrace. Let the transformation complete itself. Let the story end without ending. Let the night fold around you like wings, like water, like certainty. The last sound is water, always water, speaking in the language that needs no translation. Listen. Let it be the last thing you hear before hearing fades. Let it carry you across the final threshold into the country of sleep. The gondola drifts, the stars shine, the water holds, and you let go, finally, completely, into the peace that has been waiting all along. Sleep now. Sleep deep. Sleep well. The gondola has returned to where you began, or perhaps it never left. In Venice, all journeys circle back. The canals loop and connect. Every path eventually leads home. The amulet rests in your open palm, cool now, quiet, its work complete. It has guided you through the city's story, from lagoon to republic, from daily life to accumulated beauty, from golden age to long evening, from waking into sleep's embrace. Your gondolier pulls silently onward, moving through water that reflects nothing now except darkness and stars. The oar dips without sound. The night holds its breath. The city sleeps around you, its stones and water dreaming their own dreams. Let your last thoughts dissolve like mist on morning water. Let your body become weightless, become water itself, become part of the lagoon that has held this city for centuries. The boundary between you and the world has faded. You are held by something larger than yourself, something ancient and patient and kind. Venice will be here in the morning. The bells will ring. The tide will turn. The light will return. But for now, let everything rest. The story has been told. The night has done its work. You are safe. You are held. You are exactly where you need to be. Sleep now, traveler. Sleep deep. Let the water carry you home. You are now free. Everything you needed to do today is done. The stillness grows around you like a soft cloud. You are free from the day, free from worry, free from obligations. There is nothing you need to carry now, nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to plan. You are held gently by this moment. You are allowed to be soft in this moment. You can rest without asking for permission. This is your time, your peace, your rest. are protected here. You are safe here. You are wrapped in calm. Rest is like a friend opening their arms to you. Sleep comes to you like a natural wave. There is no wrong way to rest. You don't need to try. You don't need to do anything. Just be. Just release. Just rest. You are safe to fall asleep. You sink into peace. Your body heals, regenerates, strengthens. As you drift into beautiful dreams, your subconscious mind absorbs the following affirmations. I am falling into a peaceful and relaxing sleep. I am relaxing each of my muscles. With every second, they become warmer and heavier. I sleep deeply and well. I let my breath take me deeper. I dream of beautiful places. My body is completely relaxed. My mind is safe in its own space.